This tutorial goes over how to create a lesson for educators on TED Ed. TED Ed is a free resource for educators, students, and parents, but for this specific video, I'm going to go over the educator side. Um, Students can also create their own little TED Talks, just like you've probably seen on YouTube, or maybe you've seen a TED Talk in person yourself. But for this one, or for this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and create um, a lesson using TED Ed. TED Ed is absolutely wonderful because it allows me to create more creative lessons for my students that include different videos and things of that sort. I wanted to provide opportunities for both my students and myself to use innovative technology to express our thoughts and share our learning, whether it be in the form of a student created animated video for assignments or for on my aspect or on my end creating interactive lessons. My goal is that by thinking outside of the box to create lessons and assignments, I will inspire my students to think just as creatively to produce entertaining, high quality work. Additionally, since I am unfamiliar with the resource, my students could also teach me a thing or two as we learn together. So I have already signed up for TED Ed, so my email is already saved, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. All it asks you to do is your name, your first name, last name, email address, and then password. It does ask you to verify your email address, but then once you verify it, you can get started. And so I'm going to go ahead and create a lesson. Again, they have the option to create a student talk, which is just like a student generated version of a TED Talk. And the same thing with educator talks. You can create your own TED Talk for other educators. But for this purpose, I'm going to create a lesson that I would give to my students. I'm going to call it Earthquakes because I teach sixth grade Earth and Space Science. I'm going to go down. I'm going to do 4 crazy facts about those recent earthquakes. We're going to go ahead and use this video for the lesson. And then within the lesson, you can go ahead and put in different details. So let's begin. My introduction, I'm just going to say, let's debunk earthquake myths. Okay, that should be intriguing. And then you can go ahead and add to it. You can open or put a multiple choice question or an open answer question. I'm just going to say, can animals predict earthquakes? And I'm just going to put true or false. And I'm going to say that false is the correct answer. I don't need to add any other choices. I can add where the hint is. I'm going to go ahead and keep going for the sake of time. And then you can also add other questions. You can add just more information. And then you can just kind of close your thoughts. What I would probably say is, let's learn more about earthquakes by turning to page 32 in our textbook. And then that would be a good segue into going into the rest of the lesson. I would go ahead and publish it. And then I can go ahead and share my lesson. I can share it via email, or I could just copy the lesson link and put it into my Google Classroom so that students can see this. My ISTE standards that I wanted to meet for this resource is ISTE standard for educators 6D, model and nurture creativity and creative expression to communicate ideas, knowledge, or connections. This goes for my students as well as myself. And then ISTE standards for education leaders 3C, inspire a culture of innovation and collaboration that allows a time and space to explore and experiment with digital tools. Again, I would love to keep experimenting with TED Ed with my students and see what they can create on their own and what I can create, and just sharing our different ideas.